Happy Motivational Monday. If you think that you can't have an awesome, warm, friendly school that is also data-driven, today's guest, Deborah Dennie, will motivate you to realize that you can have a data-driven school that's also a great place to work.
This is the 10-Minute Teacher Podcast with your host, Vicki Davis.
Today, we're talking with Dr. Deborah Dennie, principal of Leonardtown Middle School in St. Mary's County, Maryland. Dr. Dennie has led her school for 10 years and has been named a 2026 NASSP National Middle Level Principal of the Year finalist. She's Maryland's Middle School Principal of the Year. We have a lot to talk about, but we're going to talk a lot about data-driven leadership and how it can transform a school culture and put students on the path to success. So thanks for coming on the show, Debbie.
Well, thanks for having me, Vicki.
Debbie, you started your teaching career in 1986, St. Vincent in the Grenadines. Can you take me back to that moment and what drew you into education, and what was it like teaching in those early years?
At that point in time, I didn't think I would get to teach because I was so young. And growing up in St. Vincent in the Grenadines, once I graduated from high school, the pathway to teaching is a bit different from the way it is in the U.S. And so I was told way back then that, oh, you were too young to teach. I, believe it or not, ended up being a shoe department manager for a year until the Ministry of Education called me and I started to teach in mid-year. I was 17-year-old then, teaching 15-year-old boys. It was a task, but I stayed in it. I have always wanted to teach. I think that was the drive to continue along those parts. I did take a break once I had my girls and I stayed home with them. And then I went back out, once my husband and I moved here to the U.S. So it's been a journey and it's been a pleasant one. I take everything, the good, the bad, the ugly. And there hasn't been a whole lot of uglies, really, because I enjoy what I do.
And you're a middle years. That's not the easiest season of life to lead a school for,
No, it gives us a run for our money. The classic middle child.
Debbie, you've been at Leonardtown Middle School for a decade now. So when you first walked through those doors as a principal, what did you see that needed to change? And what did you see that you wanted to protect?
Leonardtown Middle School there wasn't a whole lot for me to change at that point in time. To be honest, my first year, I came in and I thought, I'm just going to look and I'm going to listen. I didn't change a thing because I did not want to be the principal to come in and just take away everything that everybody had for however long, because my predecessor had been here 8 to 9 years. That wasn't my goal, to come in and simply change things. I needed to assess. I needed to look. I needed to listen, see if there was anything that I needed to, quote unquote, put my stamp on. So really and truly, I didn't come in with the intention of changing anything right off the bat. I thought I would look at it, assess, and in that first year, if I saw anything that I needed to change, then I would do so gradually.
I love that humble attitude. What does data-driven leadership look like in your school on a Tuesday morning, for example?
Let's just pick any morning. Every 2 weeks, I look at our pass back. I look to see how the kids progressing. I look to see what that means for the teachers as well, because it's not just about the kids. We have to have the teachers on board. So I will go through and I will take a look at that data with my assistant principals and my resource teacher. And we go through all of these. We look to see, okay, there are so many Fs. This is the average, because assessment and accountability would send us that average for all of the content areas, an overall average, and then broken down by content. Even the unified arts. We look at all of these things and I look to see, all right, maybe in 6th grade core math, the average percentage of Fs would be 8 or 9%, but as a building average, it's 5%. Then I look to see who is over that building average. If you're above that building average, then you're going to be hearing from me. I'll be copying the resource teacher. And then I send out some pointed questions. Why is there this gap? What are we doing for those kids who are failing? What are we doing for those kids? Are we reteaching? Are we looking at the standards? All of these things we look at. However, it's not just about that. For me, it goes beyond that instructional piece. We're a school, so it has to be about the instruction. What it goes to is, you talked earlier about the culture, and that means you have to be present, because maybe the reason why X number of kids have so many Fs because they're not coming to school. So we have to get them into school. So when I think about data, it's not just that instructional piece, the A's, the B's, the F, the county formative assessments or the state testing. Yes, all important. We're not going to get anywhere if we don't pay attention to those. We also have to look at those other things that make up a part of the culture of the building, because if the kids are not present, they're not learning. So it means that part of that data, I also have to look at the attendance data. I also have to look at the discipline data. I have to look at so many pieces of data. So I don't want to get it lost in the sense that it's just about the instructional data, because part of what makes that instructional data what it is depends on the others, the attendance data, the discipline data, for goodness sakes, the cultural climate data from the teachers and the kids. So for me, it's all encompassing. And that is something that we pay close attention to for discipline. And we start out the school year paying a lot of attention on discipline data, actually, because we figure if we don't want to lose time addressing discipline concerns. So we look at the discipline data. We look at where we were last year at that time. And we actually pose a challenge to the kids. If you can better what we looked like on paper last year, and most of the times I focus on like the top 5 areas that we got the discipline data in. I look at the top 5 most challenging areas and we address those. If they look better by end of October, well, guess what? Everybody gets to participate in a classic car show. We invite our community members who own classic cars. They come in, they line up their cars. The student leaders come out, they assist with everything. But every grade level gets to spend some time outside looking at classic cars, and they actually judge for the best in show. The community loves it, the kids love it, and we, the teachers and administrators, love it because we know they get to do that because they're behaving. It's trying to keep that culture, that climate, that academics, everything rolling to one. So that's how we use the data.
And you seem to be great with the community. Didn't you have an attendance emphasis with Miss Maryland? Did you have something with her?
Yes, we did. And it was fabulous because we had the classic car show in the fall and so on. And everybody knows it's getting to be springtime. It is. The winter, you're cooped up. We have so many snow days. We lose time. And then it's coming close and everybody wants spring. We want it. But then we have a few warm days and the kids are like, oh, I'm going to stay home. Or it snowed and it's too cold outside. We're just going to stay home. So we try to incentivize. And that's one of the things. I incentivize everything. We thought at first that we would invite a lot of the professional teams in the Maryland, Virginia, DC area. But that didn't go as well as we wanted it to. And then I thought, well, maybe we should stay a little close to home. Let's see what we can get. I invited the sheriff to come in to judge the doors at the beginning of Olympics. We had an Olympic theme going on for the doors, a door decoration. And so he came in with the assistant superintendent to be judges. And while he was here, I'm like, you know what? We have an attendance thing going. How about you give a shout out to the kids, record yourself, telling them about the importance of attendance. And if we get to 94%, the magic number based on the state, you give them a shout out. So he did. And it was really great. I'm like, oh, well, I could expand on this. My media specialist, she taught Miss Marilyn in elementary school. And she said, well, could she come and visit? I said she could come and visit, only if she's going to talk about attendance. We did that, but I thought I'll just ask. And I asked, can you do a video for us? 30 seconds, giving a shout out to them because they made 94%. We had a weekly incentive and it's posted in the main hallway to see who was winning. And she said, of course. So we did that. And then we put a picture of her up on our TV in the main hallway and just question marks, her picture and question marks. And every morning we had trivia. What school did she go to? Could you guess which teacher in the building taught her? Every morning it was a different thing leading up to her visit. And then we had a grand assembly where she came and talked about SMART goals. The attendance was great. And we've been averaging. We even got a shout out from the superintendent because at our administrative meetings, because we were the only the only secondary school to make 94%. We are trying to keep it at that level. But like I said, we look at data as an all-encompassing thing.
So Debbie, as we finish up, teaching's hard. Administrating's hard. These are all difficult things. What keeps you going when you have that hard day and you have those voices in your head and you have that angry parent you dealt with or whatever was just difficult? Because, sometimes things just happen. But look at you at the end of your day. How do you laugh when you're hurting?
My girls, my family, my daughters, I would text them. Sometimes it's just a text. They'll say, what's up now, Mom? I'll just I give one of those, send a Bitmoji or something with an angry face, and they will encourage me. My girls, my husband, my brother, they're my backbone. When I have an absolutely awful day, I know I can just call them, text them, even if I'm in the moment, and I just send a quick text and they send back something and it's all good. On the drive home, they will call to just follow up to say, hey, how did things work out? That kind of thing. And just having them there to talk to, knowing that I can just fall back on them. They will listen. That helps me out a whole lot.
So what's your word to the teachers who are hurting and struggling and tired? What's your words of encouragement to them?
Find that person that you can just talk to. Because sometimes just talking, it doesn't have to be that you're venting, just letting it off your chest. Yes, we want that mental health piece. We can't say enough about that. But that's part of the mental health, being able to release, being able to talk to somebody. So find that person who at the end of the day, you can just say, oh my goodness, I had such an awful day. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. And they're there for you. They have your back. When everything else, when it's raining on this side, you have sunshine on this side, and they're your sunshine.
I have my sunshine, and I lean on them every day, including today, too. So we've been talking with Dr. Deborah Dennie, principal of Leonardtown Middle School in St. Mary's County, Maryland. She's been there 10 years. She is a finalist for the 2026 NASSP National Middle Level Principal of the Year, and she's Maryland's Middle School Principal of the Year. So, Debbie, congratulations.
Thank you.
On your recognition, and thanks for encouraging us today.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for tuning in to the 10-Minute Teacher Podcast. Watch the video version of this podcast and catch my new radio and TV show, Cool Cat Teacher Talk, on YouTube and a radio or TV station near you. Join my Cool Cat Teacher Classroom Matters newsletter at coolcatteacher.com/newsletter. Leave a review if you found this helpful. See you later, educator.